Welcome back. John Horch is the chief criminal deputy of the Clark County Sheriff's Office and a 33-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office. Horch, a resident of Philida, was the top vote getter in Tuesday's primary. He'll be running against Ray Reynolds in November, a corporal with the Vancouver Police Department. They are looking to succeed two-term Sheriff Chuck Atkins, who is not seeking re-election. Chief Deputy Horch, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Well, a lot has been made of the staffing shortage in Clark County in the Sheriff's Office. How bad is it, and how does it affect the operation?
It is bad. We are in a crisis mode, and it's been getting worse. And so there's several reasons why it's happened, but we're about 70 to 74 positions down right now. And we're in the people business. And if we don't have people to do it, it's very tough to do our job. So we are making corrections and we are seeing improvement, but we are down right now with staffing tremendously.
Well, you've had to cut services and prioritize calls at a time when crime is on the rise. As sheriff, what can you do about this situation?
Well, like I said, I'm already making changes, revamping the hiring process to make it smoother. We have a new recruitment team that kind of came in about a year ago, making the compensation packages through the county council more attractive because we're losing officers to other agencies, getting some of the laws reversed that did tremendous harm to our citizens and our officers here in the state of Washington from about a year ago. We're getting those things reversed and we're getting better compensation packages, and we are seeing people apply again, but normally we have 50 to 100 people apply a month to be a police officer. We may have 2 or 3 right now, but we are seeing some improvement.
Clark County is a fast-growing area, and what are you seeing in terms of crime there? Are crimes changing? The nature of the crimes that you're dealing with changing in Clark County?
Well, one of the issues in Washington is there's been a lawlessness. It's been around the country, actually, but in Clark County, when the laws changed last July, the criminals could basically run, and there was nothing we could do about it on a lot of crimes. We couldn't physically detain them unless we had probable cause. Some of those laws got reversed, which was great. There was bipartisanship with our legislators, but some still need to get corrected. So we had the criminals who literally knew that they could do a lot of crimes, and if we didn't have enough evidence at the time, they could run, and there was nothing we could do. So we've seen that. Drugs are still a major issue. Most crimes are done for purchasing of drugs, so that is still an issue. And like I said, a complete lawlessness, but we are getting that back. We are working on, for example, we did a special stolen vehicle task force a few weeks ago where we concentrated on stolen vehicles, and we were very successful. So when the staffing improves, we'll be able to do even more. And we are getting there. Our staffing will improve. We will get there.
As we mentioned earlier, voters did approve a measure to implement the body camera program for the Sheriff's Office. What do you think about body cameras, and what's the timetable for their use?
Well, body cameras are great. The advances they've made with body cameras now for officer safety and the different lenses they can have. So almost every police officer I know everywhere wants a body cam because it helps de-escalate the suspect when you go with them. When you go up to them, they know they're being recorded. Sometimes they change their behavior. It also gives a clear picture of what occurred. So either way, it shows. And for court purposes, a person says I didn't do the crime, and we have it on video. Within a minute, the defense attorney is calling the prosecuting attorney and wants to do a plea. So it saves a lot of time and money right there. And it holds the police accountable, but it also shows the public that we're doing good work out there, which we are. And I think it would take a lot of the misnomers about law enforcement and some of the negativity away when they could actually see on a video what we have to put up with and how we handle it professionally.
Yeah, along those lines, since 2019, Clark County deputies have been involved in a number of officer-involved shootings, including the high-profile case of a black man, Kevin Peterson, in 2020. Also, the accidental shooting death of Vancouver police officer Daniel Sahota in January. So what's being done and should be done regarding use of force issues in the Sheriff's Office?
Well, the way you phrase that question kind of supposes that there was issues with them. Each case we look at individually, and they're investigated individually. So if a case comes across that maybe it was a training issue, we look at that. If it comes across that everything was done, nothing could have been done different, we look at that, and the prosecuting attorney gets every one of these and reviews them. So there's several different layers that we look through. So it's hard to clump them all in together just because we had some. You have to look at them all individually, and each are unique, and they have been. There's quite a few layers that they go through the police investigation, the independent investigation in Washington. We don't investigate our own shootings. The Clark County Sheriff's Office does, and then the prosecuting attorney even takes those cases and it has a review panel throughout the state of Washington. They look at the case as well. So there's a lot of checks and balances in those investigations, but we are constantly looking at every incident. What did we do right? What could we have done better? And then we go from there.
So you were saying that there were no issues involved in those two instances that I cited?
Are you talking about the two incidents that you cited? From everything, so all the reports that I've read and looked at them, and the prosecuting attorney up in Pierce County is the one on the Kevin Peterson shooting, cleared those officers. So the evidence showed that one, what occurred there when he had the gun and whatnot. It's a very unfortunate incident. You know, no police officer wants to have to shoot anybody. There's a lot of stress, and obviously, you know, there's families on the other side that are feeling it too. We want to be empathetic to that as well. That's why we have independent reviews of these. We also have citizens on our review boards who are in the whole process. I don't know if you knew that or not. They sit there and they look at all the video and they read all the reports. So they help that process along and keep it hold us accountable to that. The other one, again, I've looked at all the reports. You're talking about the other one, and some people have commented it's a training issue. When you look at, if people actually look at what occurred there, it's a very unfortunate incident, and the timing came together where the officer's actions were appropriate at that time. It's a very, very sad incident with Officer Sahota. But when you really look at the evidence and what occurred there, that's what happened. It was a bad timing on everything that occurred.
Yeah, and I also need to mention, in fairness, that you've seen your own shot and killed as well, Detective Sergeant Jeremy Brown, in July of last year. We've also heard that the Clark County Jail is no longer adequate to serve the needs of the Clark County community. We don't have a lot of time, but can you just touch on what the problem is with the jail and how does that affect you in the Sheriff's Office?
Yes. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. So one is the amount of space. We need a bigger jail or more, or somehow get more bed space. That's one issue because the population in Clark County has doubled from when it was built. Two, the facilities are old and they don't adequately provide the services because some people think we just incarcerate somebody, we shut the bars and they sit there for a certain amount of time and they get out. We also have rehabilitation programs with mental health, alcoholism, helping people get social skills to get jobs and stuff like that. So all these programs are affected by our staffing. And when we don't have enough staffing, we can't help people in jail get those, meet their needs. And so, because we don't want people to come back, we really don't. You know, when the jail is, you know, this is our criminal justice system, but we want to see people rehabilitated so they don't keep committing crimes. So that is the end goal. And we try to do our part while they're incarcerated.
And we have to end it there. Thank you, John Horch, for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics. Good discussion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Body.
All right, next on Give Me a Minute, Oregon hospitals have a problem. There aren't enough beds and it's happening statewide. And the COVID pandemic isn't the only reason. The Pamplin Media Group's Dana Haynes has some thoughts about that in our Give Me a Minute after the break.